Hello everybody. Just thought I'd log in as I was walking around here in the rain. I thought I'd take a little stop at a cafe and get some shelter. And what came into my mind just now is the mass investment that we're seeing into the UK and the US and certainly some other countries too, from Gulf nations. And this was particularly highlighted to me recently when one of my clients, Ranald Crook, who's detained in Qatar right now, we contacted on his behalf companies that Qataris had invested into, like the Ritz in London and British Airways, where they own a stake. And we asked these companies to comment on the situation with Ranald and several other British nationals who are currently in detention. One of them being Jonathan Nash, who's been in detention for some time with wrongful allegations for breach of trust and bounce checks. So what we're seeing is British nationals going into countries like the UAE, like Qatar, and investing mass, not only money, but their skill set, their time. And when they invest in these countries, the locals are seeing that as fair play. Anything that comes into these countries, into the UAE, into Qatar, is seen as being owned by those people. They like to see it come in, they don't like to see it go out. So what we see are a lot of fabricated allegations against foreign nationals and investors in those countries, specifically to ensure that they keep any foreign investment in the country and it's not taken back. But then this particular money that's stolen from foreigners, that's stolen from Americans, from Brits, from Germans, what we're seeing is that money is then being used to reinvest into our countries, the UK and the US. This stolen money essentially is being used to reinvest into countries, and we're supporting them. We're supporting, British Airways investment. We're supporting the Ritz in London. And this is money that has been stolen from British nationals, being reinvested into corporations in the UK with full legal protection of the United Kingdom legal system. And we're supporting it. And to me, this is unacceptable. So I've written to the Ritz in London to ask them to support Ranald Crook. Now, surprisingly, instead of their support, I received a letter saying that they were concerned that the name of the perpetrator of Ranald Crook's wrongful arrest was so similar to the name of the individual who allegedly owns this Ritz in London that they were concerned people might get confused. But they didn't comment at all about the plight of British nationals in Qatar or in the Gulf. And that's what we need to see. More of these mutual investment groups. We have Qatar in the UK. We have investment groups that promote mutual investment from Britain into the Gulf and vice versa. And these countries, these groups seem absolutely fine with the fact that it's one way. Our money's going in and it's not coming out. And neither are our people. Our people are ending up in jail purely so that these foreign countries can misappropriate their entire businesses. And I'm saying hundreds of millions of pounds, if actually billions of our money being stolen by local Emiratis and local Qataris. Now, this is something that we want to see change in the UK. We need to see that this is highlighted, certainly within the business groups, but also with the embassies, with the US Embassy. Hi, Joe. Thanks for joining. With the British Embassy, the American embassies need to be warning their citizens that investing in these countries could be a one-way ticket, not only for their money to end up remaining in that country to the tune of hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, but also if they happen to be in the country, they're going to have those false allegations levied against them that could cause them to be jailed for years. We're talking 5 years, 10 years. We've had cases where people have been jailed, sentenced for absolutely nothing but fabricated allegations. They've been sentenced to more than 40 years in prison. Not to mention, of course, their entire investment has been lost and their lives ruined. That's if they happen to secure their freedom in the future. So When we see countries like Qatar, like the UAE and Saudi investing heavily into our infrastructure, into our hotels, our tourism, the Hilton Hotel in America, all over the place, and our media and lobbyists to change our policies in the West, we need to see that equal investment coming from our side to ensure that we're not taken advantage of as we currently are. Now, finally, a lot of people have decided to stand up to this kind of abuse and are actually launching, hi Christian, they're actually launching actions in the United States and in the United Kingdom for the return of their hundreds of millions of pounds of stolen money or dollars. So what we're going to see is international enforcement of these criminal acts that are taking place that have historically been, where they've been able to get away with such acts. So I really look forward to seeing some accountability in the Gulf. I look forward to embassies actually taking that step to warn their own citizens that their money is going to be lost, or has a serious potential of being lost in these countries. This is something that our foreign governments do need to stand up for their citizens on this point. I don't know why on earth this kind of warning hasn't been actively promoted in the United States and the United Kingdom when this kind of business theft is so prevalent. But what we're going to see is certainly enforcement in the international courts. We're going to see British Airways and the Ritz and other companies that are accepting investment from these abusive nations. We're going to see them being forced to make statements to the press, be forced to stand up to this kind of abuse and for their own nationals who are being detained unfairly. But anyway, I want to get on with my coffee, so thank you very much for joining me, and I'll tune in again later. Thanks.